Hello, friends. Welcome to Purposeful Leadership. I'm your host and the discoverer of the discovery, if you like, Jeff Pelletier. This is the place for you to come to learn about life's core purpose and how to apply it to life. We call it Life's Core Purpose because it's about your whole life. It's not about your calling or your mission statement or your personal vision or your sweet spot. You come here to learn the two most important things you'll ever know about yourself that when used together are your life's core purpose. Life's core purpose is foundational for all assessments, callings, careers, and missions you might have. And if you know your strength themes, life's core purpose can help you with that too. It will never change. If you don't know yours, you've come to the right place. And if you've already discovered your life's core purpose, you've come to the right place. So let's get to it. It's great to be with you, friends. I really enjoy meeting you in these podcasts. I hope you also enjoy them. If you do, or you have a comment about them, you can just write me at jeff@lifescorepurpose.com. That's all one word, lifescorepurpose.com. Love to hear from you. Love to hear anything that you're interested in. We also have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter, your LCP is the Twitter account. So today I'm going to take us back a little bit. I'm going to take a back step here. I'm going to go backwards just a tad, and I'm going to talk about what a purpose is and what purpose is not. So I have an opinion, because I'm a Christian. I have an opinion of what our eternal purpose is, and we all have an eternal purpose. If you're a Christian and maybe even a Muslim or a Hindu, I don't know about what your faith structure is, but as a Christian, my eternal purpose is to know, love, and serve God. And if I focus my whole life on that, I do pretty well. But in my life, the question is, now that I know I'm supposed to know, love, and serve God, how do I do it? What is the do about that? And that is your life's core purpose, different from your life's eternal purpose, but your life's core purpose. And your life's core purpose is how you bring yourself, the way you've been made, the way you are, how you bring that self to the world, and how do you use who you are towards the world, in your job, in your career, in your relationships, in your marriage. And that's what life's core purpose is all about. Now, here's the secret about life's core purpose. You're doing it right now. You don't even know that you're doing it, but you are doing it right now. And so it's not a secret, but most people are just not aware of what their life's core purpose is, and that's the purpose behind life's core purpose. So here it is. I'm going to give you the overview of what it is, and I'm going to give you some information today about core competence, which is one part of life's core purpose. So you have a core competence and a core passion, and I'm going to talk about core competence today to give you some insight into how we help you discover that and what is it made of. And that'll be kind of the review. And this is, by the way, all in the video when you go to vimeo.com /on-demand/life's core purpose. When you do that on vimeo.com, up comes life's core purpose, and you can go through it. I think it's $29 right now, something like that. Could be different. I don't really pay attention to it very much, but it's a good deal for sure, and you will make way more, many times more of that if you, for instance, go through the career track, which is a program we've created 5 videos on how to use your life's core purpose in your work and how to get the best job using your life's core purpose. So that's the career track. And you can find that with the same address, only /career track, all one word, at the end, and you can find that. The first video, by the way, of career track is free. And if you click on trailer, you can watch the 9-minute first video of that 5-video series, you only have to pay actually for 4. But there's some good stuff in that 9-minute video about life and about the world we're in and why life's core purpose is so important right now. Okay? All right, so here we go. So life's core purpose is your core competence pointed at causing your core passion to happen. So you learn these 2 things about yourself, core competence and core passion. When you do your core competence and point it at causing your core passion, that's when you live your life's core purpose. And it takes a little bit of discipline to get there because core competence is in your head and core passion is in your heart. And in most people, the head and the heart don't even talk to each other. Or in some people, they're in actual conflict. Some people never know how they feel. They never understand their feelings very well. And there are people that only live by their feelings. So they're passion-driven, right? What they care about is what they live for, and they try really hard to make it happen, but because they don't know their core competence, they don't use it. But then the opposite is also true. If they only know their core competence, they can go through life being productive, in a sense, because that's always in play, and it's always you're always using it. But if it's not pointed at what you really care about, there's no joy, no satisfaction. And that's the whole idea of an effective, joyful life. And that's what life's core purpose brings you, is an effective, joyful life. But I want to spend time today on core competence. I think core competence, it's the first half, if you like. I don't know if they're equally to each other, but again, some people are core competence or head-driven. Some people are core passion, heart-driven. So, to say that it's equal, I don't know. That's something each person needs to figure out about themselves. But let me just talk about core competence. So when I first started with life's core purpose, I would ask people, "What are you really great at?" And they would say, "I'm really great at solving problems," or "I'm really great at helping people," or "I'm really great at leading people," or "I'm really great at," they would tell me those kinds of things. And I would say to them, "Okay, that's great. That's awesome. But what's going on when you are helping people? What's going on?" And that was a really interesting question for people. Because, what do you mean, what's going on? Because I didn't know either. I said, well, what's going on so let me ask it another way. What are you doing when you're helping people? And people would say things to me like, well, I'm helping them get organized. Because people are disorganized. And they're not organized, and I help them get organized. Okay? And that was very helpful for me. Because that was something they actually did. And that's actually a skill. And I thought, okay, organizing. That's really cool. And, then we would have a discussion, and we would come to 2 words. Over a period of meetings, we would come to 2 words. And it would take me, 3 or 4 weeks to help somebody find their life's core purpose. Because then I would say, well, what do you care about most? And they would say, well, I really care about people. And I would say, well, what do you do when you care about people? Why do you care about people? What's important about caring for people? And people would respond with different answers, but they weren't quite specific enough. So cut to the short here. Over a period of 5 years, I discovered 2 things. One is Bloom's Taxonomy of Cognitive Skills. Benjamin Bloom, that's in the video, you can see it. Bloom's Taxonomy of Cognitive Skills. And I also discovered, actually I already knew this, but I started using it, a root cause analysis tool called the 5 Whys. Well, the root cause analysis tool called the 5 Whys is designed to find out the cause of a problem. But I'm not using it for that. I'm helping you to find what you really care most about. So it's getting to the root of a different thing, and nobody's using it for this, and so that's why it's so cool, because we're using it to help you find the thing you care most about in your life. So back to core competence, Bloom's Taxonomy. Taxonomy is a organization. How about that? There's that word again. Taxonomy is an organization of how something is structured. Okay? And it's usually, a taxonomy usually is about like insects or railway stations in the world or NFL players. You categorize people, and you categorize, so you put all the left tackles in one category. So a taxonomy is a categorization of skills. And specifically, Benjamin Bloom looked at cognitive skills because in the 50s, when he created this, he was trying to help teachers teach. And so what he did was he interviewed a bunch of people, and he did what I did. Okay, when you're doing, he gave them something to do, like put a puzzle together, and he would say to them, what are you thinking about while you're putting the puzzle together? And he would categorize the things that people said about what they were thinking about, and he created over time a categorization of how people think and how that transfers into skill. And thank you, Benjamin Bloom, because I'm using that to help you find your core competence. And Benjamin Bloom and I disagree, and I'm right, because I've proven that I'm right. When Benjamin Bloom created all these categorizations of thinking skills, the categories are knowing, comprehending, application, evaluation, analysis, and synthesis. Those are the 6 categories that Benjamin Bloom created. And Benjamin Bloom said that a person should start with knowledge and grow and become a synthesizer all the way down. So they actually ascend from knowing at the bottom to synthesis at the top, and they actually ascend. And the job of teaching is to help people and teachers to develop curriculum that helps students develop these skills in their person. And what I discovered is that everybody is better at one of these categories than they are at the other 5. And it doesn't matter how much you teach them and how hard you try to develop them, they always gravitate towards the category that they're great at, their category. And in that category, there's a cognitive skill that they're really, really, really great at. And so somebody can be great at in the category of knowing, and they can be great in the in the skill of telling, okay, or in the skill of showing, or in the skill of reporting, or in the skill of research. They can be really, really great at that because those are all knowing skills in the knowledge category. And you can't make them great at synthesis if that's how they're made. It's not that they can't synthesize. Of course they can, but it doesn't come naturally to them. What comes naturally to them is telling or doing research. That's what they love to do, and that's what they're really, really great at. So that's what I learned with Benjamin Bloom, that he was wrong in terms of his application, and teachers are actually being set up to fail. So if teachers were to put people through Life's Core Purpose, maybe in their senior year, and send them off to college, they would know what they're really great at and what they really care about, and they can structure their own college experience based on those 2 things, and they can come away with a career that they're really amazing at. But that's another story. But teachers are really beating their heads against the wall trying to develop these 6 categories in every student. It just doesn't work. And I tell a story in the video of how that happened to me and how one of the things that happened to me that proved it to me. Anyway, you can check that out. So anyway, the categorization, okay, and then as I told you, in each category, so my category is comprehension, right? So my skill is understanding. I have a friend whose skill is paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is saying things in other words, right? So he's a comprehender, but he's great at paraphrasing. I'm great at understanding. We have different outcomes We have different skills, but when we talk easily together because we use common language because we think the same. It's interesting, isn't it? But that could also be true if we shared the same passion and we had different skills. So if we had different skills, like he was an analytical and I was a comprehender, but we both loved we both loved joy, for example. Joy is what we live for, to cause more joy in the world. We want people to have joy. And you can see right there from a core passion point of view, it's not a school or a job it's not an event. Those things are different uses of your core passion. But if my core passion is joy, I want the world to have joy. I want the world to have an elated sense of being. That's what joy is, an elated sense of being. And what I've noticed is when I help someone understand, I feel joy. When I help someone, so my core passion is potential. I care when something becomes what it can be. Not what it should be, not what it wants to be, what it can be. And I help people discover what that is with life's core purpose in the passion side of things. That's what they really want to achieve in the world, is what they really want the world to have. And I get joy when I help people find that and use that. The whole point of life's core purpose gives me joy. And it is because I know my core purpose that I created life's core purpose. It was an outcome of me applying my purpose. Okay, so that's it. The core competence. Core competence is 6 categories. You're great at one of those categories really well. You're really great at one of those categories that's dominant in you. And in that category, there's a skill that you're amazing at. But then there's 3 that you're really great at, and there's 1 that you will not at all never use. You always use it. In fact, you won't act or decide without using that cognitive skill. And for me, it's understanding. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to seek information, and I'm going to sift through the answers to those questions and the information I get until I arrive at an understanding of what it is I'm dealing with. And I won't go forward until I understand. That's the way it is. So a person whose category is analysis and their skill is comparing. Well, what they're going to do is they need information because they're going to compare things one to another until they get what they need out of that. And I'm not an analyzer, so I don't know the answer to that, right? But they're going to compare things one to another. And they notice the differences, and they notice how things are the same, and they're able to come to a conclusion about that based on comparing. And then they're ready to go after they've compared things. And people, well, it has this characteristic and that characteristic, but this one doesn't have that characteristic. And they'll go into I call it going into the weeds because I'm not an analyzer. I love analyzers. I love them. They're amazing people. They're amazing, able to get to the point, the root. They're awesome at it. But a comparer will do it that way. They take time. And to an evaluator, that's almost like a root canal, because evaluators make decisions and they like to decide. They like to come to a conclusion based on a set of criteria. And when an analyzer and an evaluator are in the same room, it can be tense. So an example of that, if you watch 12 Angry Men, the movie, right? There's an analyzer and there's two judging people, which is evaluation, and there's 2 judging people, and they fight the whole time because he's guilty, and the analyzer's going, what about this? What about that? Maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And they're analyzing it, and they come to a different conclusion because the whole room comes to a different conclusion because the analyzer takes the time to figure it out. Detectives are analyzers. Great detectives are analyzers. Great lawyers can also be evaluators. Many lawyers are judging, deciding people. They look at criteria and they evaluate it, and then they decide. Some are analysis, some are analytical, and they do different kind of law. They'll do research law, or they'll study case studies. I hope I've helped you today with life's core purpose, core competence, 6 categories, 1 category, 1 skill, and that is your fastball. That is your amazing ability, and it makes you who you are. It makes you extremely effective when you apply it. We'll talk about passion some other time, but I wanted to give you this understanding. There's knowing, there's comprehension, there's application, there's evaluating, there's analysis, and there's synthesis. And these 5 categories, we all think using these 5 categories. And one of these 5 categories is dominant in us. And in that category is a skill, a thinking skill we're amazing at. Vimeo.com/on demand, all one word, on demand /life's core purpose, no apostrophe. Get yours today. I look forward to hearing about when you find your life's core purpose. Oh, one more thing. After you find your life's core purpose on Vimeo.com, there's a free coaching video right down at the bottom of it. Play that 11-minute video and it tells you how to use your life's core purpose.